Hello everyone, this is CK. I'm a practicing Scrum Master and an Agile coach. So in today's video, let's discuss Scrum events. Firstly, we are not going to talk anything about Agile or Scrum specific. If you want to, if you're not aware of these topics, please refer my previous videos. So in this video, we specifically talk about the events. We are not going deep into explanation of Agile and Scrum. Yeah. Okay. So in Scrum, it is mandatory to follow all the events which I am going to explain to you. So we follow sprints in Scrum. Sprint is a backbone where these all four events comes in picture. The starting of the sprint, we start with sprint planning, then we have a daily Scrum, and finally we have a sprint review. After that we have sprint retrospective. These are the four events we follow in the sprint. Let us specifically start with the first event, sprint planning, and the time box of that event is 8 hours for 1 month sprint or lesser time if the sprint is small. Okay, so in the sprint planning meeting, the team gathers developers, a product owner and a Scrum Master. So what is done there is we have a product backlog. It is one of the artifacts which has all the informations or product goal, what has to be achieved at the end of the project itself. So all this information is available in the product backlog. So in the sprint planning meeting, we as a team sits and product owner gives a priority task in the product backlog. So these are the list which is like prioritized in top order. So which has to be started development. So the developer team is sitting there, they along with the product owner going to create a sprint backlog. The sprint backlog is the items and features, the plan the team is going to complete at the end of the sprint. So there are multiple ways like the relative approach, estimation concepts, many things are there where you can practice, but that is out of the Scrum guide. Okay. So consider the team is following a relative approach. What is relative approach? Let us talk about that later. So finally in the sprint planning, the items are taken from the product backlog, and items to be developed in the sprint is prioritized by the product owner, and the developers finally agrees and they create a sprint backlog, and the sprint planning is completed. So they have a fixed plan, task, items for the upcoming sprint, which is consider that is a 30-day sprint. It is fixed with that sprint planning. Okay, the developers start the work from the day one. Daily Scrum is a event which comes next to the sprint planning. It is daily event. Okay, it is time boxed like 15 minutes daily. What do the developers discuss there? So first of all, who can attend the daily Scrum meeting? Only the developers are encouraged to attend the meeting. How about product owner and Scrum Master? They can attend the meeting if they consider as a developer and can attend the meeting. They should not disturb the developers work, but in the meeting giving some inputs, disturbing, nothing should happen. This is a proper Scrum which has to be followed. Okay. So in daily Scrum, the developers meet, they update their work and what has to be done next day. So it is like a quick inspection meeting. Okay, so that everyone understands like what is happening. Okay, 15 minutes meeting is happening daily. So next is sprint review. So after the sprint planning, the team starts the work daily. They have a meeting. If you ask me, only this meeting is allowed in Scrum? No. We can have a number of meetings. If developers have any issues, they can coordinate with the other developers, they can coordinate with the stakeholders, they can come to the Scrum Master, they can go to the product owner for asking the clarifications. Everything can happen, but these are the mandatory events which has to be compulsorily follow in Scrum. Okay, so after this developers are working and some increment has to be done at the end of the sprint. That is the goal of the sprint. So in the sprint review meeting, the stakeholders, product owner, Scrum Master, the team attends, and the developers display what has been created. So increment, they has to display that. So it is visibly seen. The stakeholders can give their input, product owner can give their input, developers can understand. So again, the empirical concepts, inspection, adaptation, the change, everything can be decided. Okay, and event is completed. Next comes the sprint retrospective. Many will be confused with this event, right? But it is very important event in Scrum. Okay, why? Because only the development team attends this meeting. Like in sprint, there is no specific development team. I mean that the developers, the team, okay, altogether attends the meeting. So they discuss what went right, what went wrong, what can be improved in the upcoming sprint. They have plenty of experience working on the sprint, right? So altogether it is decided if there is any effectiveness can be done in the next sprint, right? So they note that points, it can be added in the product backlog. From the product backlog for the next sprint, in the sprint planning meeting, they can add it there. So some effectiveness can be done during the sprint retrospectives. So it is facilitated by the Scrum Master. So the team is free to speak what they have in mind, or what are the inputs they can give for the next sprint's effectiveness. So this is the main agenda of sprint retrospective. So the time box of the sprint retrospective is 3 hours for 1 month sprint. It can be lesser as well. And for sprint planning, the time box is 4 hours. Let us have a quick recap of what we have discussed now. So the sprint is a backbone of the Scrum. So sprint has 4 events. So first event is a sprint planning, where the product backlog items is taken. From there, the sprint backlog items is agreed, estimated by the developers, and the product owner gives the priority list, agreed. And daily Scrum, the developers join, they discuss what they have to complete in the next day. So the work continues. At the end, we have a sprint review, where stakeholders plus the team reviews what they have got an output as a result, what is the increment created. So after that, the sprint retrospective, where they discuss inspection and adaptation can be taken. So in case if the increment is not created during the sprint, if it's the first sprint and developers are new to the project and the increment is not created, can we extend the sprint? Can we postpone the second sprint? The no increment is developed, right? No. In Scrum, the sprint keeps on running. There is no way you can stop the sprint. Okay, if it is not developed, yeah, you can learn from that sprint. In sprint retrospective, you can discuss, make it effective, and continue the next sprint. But there is no way you can stop the sprint. The only possibility is product owner can able to stop the sprint in case goal of the sprint can't be achieved and the final decision is taken by the product owner to stop the sprint, or else no way, no sprint is stopped. This is a short and detailed explanation on the sprint events. If you have any doubt in any of the events, please feel free to reach me. I'm happy to help you. Okay, let us connect in the next video. Good day. Bye.